It's been 3 months since a really horrible incident happened to me. I'm going to tell you about it. Some of you might already know because you might have read my post on Facebook. But basically, 3 months ago, I was at a beach club and it was late in the afternoon, and my children came out of the water. I was over by the shower washing off the younger one, the 4-year-old, and all of a sudden, I hear somebody I know very, very well, a friend, somebody I considered a friend, shout at me, "Yo, woman, come here, so come here, what's wrong? Get here, so here now, come here. What you doing with that kind of swimsuit?" I totally ignored him because I realized that he was drunk, and he is known for inappropriate kind of like discussions when he's drunk. And he came over to me and continued, seriously, man, woman, your husband can't afford, like, he can't afford a proper swimsuit. He can't give you money to buy a proper swimsuit, right? This is the swimsuit I was wearing, by the way. That's the bottom, and that's the top. That's the top, okay? And I'm fairly small, okay? I'm fairly small. Anyway, I ignored him again because I was like, seriously, he is really, I cannot believe he's speaking like this to me. He's insulting me, he's insulting my husband. My son is here, he's 4, and I ignored him again. So I walked past him, and my husband was at the end of the patio at the beach club, looking out towards the sea, talking to some cousins of ours, of mine. And so he didn't see or hear any of this. And I was going to go over him, but I saw a friend waving to me, so I went to say hello. And when I went to say hello, there were a couple of the guys there that I said hello to, and they happened to be very good friends of this same person who had been screaming at me. So I said hello to them, and I went around the other side of the table. They were all around the table, and my 2 sons at this point are now nearby and with me. And the same man comes and stands next to me, right? And he's like, seriously, man, seriously, like, your husband can't afford material. Like, so what kind of swimsuit was this? At which point he proceeded to stick his hands into my swimsuit, into the back, right by my bottom, and yank the material right across, right? Obviously flabbergasted, furious, and actually violated, I smacked his hand off and said, "Get your dirty hands off me," right? At which point he turns to me and says, "Why should I? You deserve it if you're going to wear that swimsuit." I was speechless. I was speechless. But my mind was racing, and in that moment, I just thought, no, this man cannot get away with this. But I'm not going to react right now. I have to be sensible about this, and this has to stop. This kind of behavior that these sorts of men do has to stop. This is ridiculous. I am not the only person men like this do this to. There are hundreds more women, and I have to speak out, but in a different way. So I then kind of scuttled my kids off, went over to where my husband was, who was still facing out towards the sea, and I walked around to face him. He saw my face, and he said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Don't worry, everything's fine. I'm taking the children up to the house. I'm going to bathe and them and feed them and put them to bed. You stay here. I'm good." And he was kind of like, "Oh, okay." Meanwhile, coming up behind him, so towards me, right, same man. Yo, Greg, what's wrong with you, man? You can't afford, you don't have money to buy, like, your wife a new swimsuit. What's wrong with you, man? You don't have money, right? My husband did not react at all. He just sat there, right, and said, as the man approached him behind and said, "Why should I? She's a bag of bones. There's nothing to cover up," and ignored him, at which point the man did turn around and leave, and I left with the kids. A couple hours later, once the kids were in bed, I did post all of this on Facebook. I did not say the man's name. I didn't actually give the exact account of what happened. And because I thought people would realize what had taken place. The truth is, I got a lot of support. And I did hear from this man. He sent me a WhatsApp message to say, what happened to you? You can't take a joke. This is after I made the Facebook and after people started replying their support, right? What happened to you? You can't take a joke. Or just because you can't take a joke. Something like that, right? I did not reply. Anyway, for the next 5 days, I got a lot of support. Truly, like, really a lot of support. A lot of things that were going on. I hadn't actually told my family the full ramifications of actually what happened, or the full story, rather, of what happened. And I bumped into somebody who made a comment of, oh, but Ems, I've hit you on the side like that, on the side of your hip. And I said, yes, to say something like, what happened, girl? You need to fatten up. Come, let's feed you. I said, that's very different to what actually happened. And I explained what happened, and the man was shocked. And I realized that I needed to actually give a blow-by-blow of what actually happened. So I did. I posted on Facebook again, and I said exactly what happened. Again, I left the man's name out of it. People were already starting to guess who it was. The man obviously squealed himself. You throw a stone into a pig pen, and the guilty pig will be the first one to squeal. Anyway, I realize that I shocked a lot of people by posting what happened to me on Facebook. And I'm going to tell you why I did it. I did it because I am sick and tired of men in Jamaica thinking it's okay to do what they want and say what they want and be sexually abusive towards women and physically abusive towards women and verbally abusive towards women. It is not acceptable. I don't care how much you've had to drink, right? The fact of the matter is that I did try and ignore this man the first time by the shower when he started flinging abuses at me, right? I did ignore him, and he came up again and continued, and I ignored him again. And then I went over to the middle of the beach club to say hello to other people and then to walk off, and he went again, and that's when he stuck his hand into my swimsuit. And I still ignored it and went over to my husband, and he still comes up and then insults my husband, right? So, people can sit there and say, oh, but he was drunk. Well, I'm sorry. I did all I had to do, right? And he still did what he did, right? So there is no excuse. And even then, without all of that, there is no excuse. I don't care how drunk you are, because then at what point is it okay to then allow somebody who gets raped? The guy was blind drunk. Like, it's not his fault. He was blind. Like, there comes a line, and the line to me is at the very beginning. And the line is, you do not abuse people like this. You just don't. There's no gray area, right? Now, I've had so much support. I've had men support me, women support me on Facebook, send me private messages, calling me, sending me, WhatsApp messages as well. I mean, really a lot of support, right? People coming up to me. But I've also experienced not hearing from people who I thought I would hear from, like people who I considered friends, who I know about this incident and have not acknowledged it at all. I mean, like, I'm smiling because I was upset, but now I'm like, thank you for showing me your true colors, right? Now, it's not a lot of people. It does not affect my everyday life. It does not affect my everyday friendships that I have with people and hanging out with them or my children at all. Thank goodness, right? But it speaks volumes of these people. Now, they might have reasons. Good reasons could be, or good reasons to them, could be the person who did this has got such and such a job, is part of such and such a family, and such a social circle and status. And they don't want to rock the boat because they don't want to be the one that ends up being the pariah. Because, of course, now I'm the pariah in that social circle. And it amuses me, but saddens me that in this day and age, especially it's 2017, like, come on. As my brother said, like, if you don't stand up against this sorts of behavior, you actually stand for it, right? I've had a couple of men come up to me to kiss me hello and then back up and say, like, oh, can't touch Emma, glass bubble around you, can't come near you. I'm sorry. Do you not trust yourself to say hello to me? Do you think that saying hello to me is going to force you to sexually molest me? Or are you saying that there's no difference between saying hello to me and sticking your hands inside my pants? Like, it's there, you can't even like compare the two. But I have something to say to you men who are saying those things to me, right? Is yes, if you cannot trust yourself, if you are unable to trust yourself, right? Then don't come near me. Do not come near me, because I promise you that if you so much as verbally or sexually or physically abuse me again, right? I am protected by the law, right? No intimidation tactics, no threats, right, are going to deter me. Nothing is going to stop me from standing up for women and children, for that matter. There are children who this happens to as well, right? Nothing. Until the day I die, I will fight for this cause. I will fight for myself. I'll fight for women that I know. I'll fight for women that I don't know. And you know what? I'll fight for the women, right, who have not acknowledged what has happened to me. The ones that I thought were my friends. I will fight for you. If this ever happens to you, I will fight for you, right? That I can promise you. I will fight for you, and I will fight for everybody else, because what happened to me was disgusting. What happened to me was despicable, right? And imagine there is far worse that happens to other people, right? So if I feel the way I feel, right, after what happened to me 3 months ago, I can only imagine what it must be like for these other women who have been through something similar, something far worse than this. And I'm telling you, men, it is unacceptable, right? It is not up to women to speak out. Yes, they need to speak out when it happens, but it is up to you, men. Do not put women in that position, ever. It is unacceptable, and I will fight against it.